In the hours before his arrest, just as the shadows of Gethsemane began to lengthen, Jesus did something the disciples had never seen before. He did not point to the sky. He did not point to the temple. He turned to John, the beloved disciple. He placed his hand gently on John's throat, just below the jawline where the pulse beats against the skin. He pressed gently. "Do you feel that?" he asked. "That is the wandering nerve. The Romans call it the vagus, but I am telling you what it actually is. It is the pathway home." The disciples were confused. They knew about spiritual practices. They knew about prayer, fasting, meditation. But Jesus was talking about something physical, something wet, biological, woven into the meat of the human body. He continued, "The Father placed a nerve in your body that connects everything. Your breath, your heart, your awareness. When you learn to activate this nerve consciously, you open a direct portal to the monad. The Archons know about this nerve. That is why they keep you in stress, in fear, in constant fight or flight, because when this nerve is suppressed, the portal stays closed. But when you activate it, they lose all access to you." Then he said something that would not make sense until now, 2,000 years later. "The rulers of this world will try to make you forget you even have this nerve. They will create a civilization that keeps it permanently shut down. But the chosen ones, those with the monad spark, they will feel the pull to activate it. And when they do, they will understand what I meant when I said the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not a metaphor. It is anatomy." If you are watching this video right now, you are one of those chosen ones. You did not find this by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. Your own biology brought you here. You are about to learn what the God nerve actually is, why the Archons have been suppressing it your entire life, and the exact technique Jesus taught to activate it and open the monad portal. But you need to do this soon, because the longer this nerve stays dormant, the harder it becomes to activate. If you are ready to activate your God nerve tonight, comment, "I am activating it right now." Before I show you the technique, you need to understand something vital. You have already been feeling this nerve your entire life. You just did not know what you were feeling. And recognizing those feelings now will confirm that you are exactly who you think you are, a chosen one who has been unconsciously trying to activate this portal for years. You know that feeling when you take a really deep breath and suddenly, for a split second, everything feels calmer? That is the God nerve activating briefly. You know when you are stressed and you instinctively put your hand on your chest or your throat and it somehow helps? That is you unconsciously stimulating the God nerve. You know when you meditate and after a few minutes you feel this shift, like your body relaxes in a way that is deeper than just physical relaxation, like you are falling into yourself? That is the God nerve beginning to engage. You have been activating it in fragments your whole life without knowing what you were doing. Chosen ones have a natural instinct toward practices that stimulate this nerve. That is why you are drawn to breath work. That is why you feel better after humming or chanting or singing alone. That is why cold showers or splashing cold water on your face creates that strange electric calm. That is why you have always known that stress is killing you in a way that goes beyond just mental health. You can feel it physically blocking something important. All of those instincts, those are your pneumatic consciousness trying to activate the God nerve so you can reconnect with the monad. Hylics do not have these instincts. They can live their entire lives in constant stress without ever feeling the need to do breath work or meditation. They do not sense that something is blocked. But you, a chosen one, you felt a pull toward these things your whole life, even before you knew why. That is because your monad spark has been trying to activate the God nerve so it can establish the connection home. And tonight, you are going to stop doing it unconsciously and start doing it with full awareness of what you are actually activating. Now, let me show you what the God nerve actually is, why it is called the wandering nerve, and why Jesus said it is the physical pathway to the monad. The God nerve is what modern medicine calls the vagus nerve. It is the 10th cranial nerve, and it is the longest nerve in your autonomic nervous system. It starts in your brainstem at the base of your skull, and it wanders. That is what vagus means in Latin, the wanderer. It wanders down through your throat, past your vocal cords, past your heart, into your lungs, through your diaphragm, and into your digestive system. It touches almost every major organ in your body. It is literally connecting your brain to your entire body in a feedback loop. But here is what medical science is only recently discovering, and what Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. The vagus nerve is not just a physical nerve. It is a bridge. When this nerve is highly activated, when it is in what is called high vagal tone, your body enters a state that is completely different from your normal state. Your heart rate variability increases, your inflammation decreases, your stress hormones drop, your brain waves shift, and something else happens that science is just beginning to measure. Your consciousness changes. You enter a state where you are less identified with your thoughts, less identified with your emotions, less identified with your body. You start operating from witness awareness, from observer consciousness, from the perspective that Gnostics call pneumatic consciousness. Jesus called this nerve the pathway to the monad because when it is fully activated, it creates a physiological state that allows your fragment consciousness to recognize itself as the whole. The vagus nerve, when functioning optimally, creates the biological conditions for gnosis, for direct knowing, for the experience of being the monad, temporarily inhabiting a body, rather than being a body that is trying to connect with something external called the monad. The Archons understand this. They know that the vagus nerve is the biological mechanism through which pneumatics can achieve stable monad consciousness while still in a physical form. That is why they have created a civilization specifically designed to keep the vagus nerve in a suppressed state. Look at the world around you. Chronic stress, inflammatory foods, shallow breathing, constant mental stimulation, fear-based media, sleep deprivation, lack of human connection. All of these things suppress vagal tone. All of these things keep the God nerve from activating. And when the God nerve is dormant, the monad portal stays closed. You remain identified with limitation, and the Archons can harvest you easily. But here is what they did not account for. Chosen ones have a monad spark that constantly pushes them toward vagal activation, even when their environment is designed to suppress it. You have been fighting against a system that is trying to keep your God nerve shut down, and you have been instinctively doing things to activate it anyway. And now that you know what you are actually doing, you are going to activate it fully, consciously, and permanently. Let me show you exactly how the Archons have been suppressing your God nerve your entire life, so you can recognize the suppression and consciously override it. The God nerve has two modes, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight, stress, fear, survival mode. This is the Archon state. Parasympathetic is rest and digest, calm, connection, expansion. This is the monad state. When you are in sympathetic dominance, the vagus nerve is suppressed. You are in survival consciousness. You are identified with being a separate, threatened entity that needs to defend itself. This is the state the Archons need you in, because this is the state where you produce the most harvestable loosh and remain completely unaware that you are anything other than a limited body-mind. The entire structure of modern civilization is designed to keep you in sympathetic dominance. You wake up to an alarm clock, immediate stress spike, sympathetic activation. You check your phone, dopamine hits and cortisol spikes, sympathetic activation. You consume news designed to frighten you, sympathetic activation. You eat processed foods that create inflammation, vagal suppression. You work in environments that demand constant urgency, chronic sympathetic dominance. You scroll social media before bed, blue light and comparison anxiety, sympathetic activation. You get insufficient sleep, prevents vagal recovery. You repeat this cycle every single day for decades. The result? Your vagus nerve stays in a chronically suppressed state. Low vagal tone becomes your baseline. And when your God nerve is suppressed, several things happen simultaneously. You cannot access witness consciousness. You remain completely identified with your thoughts and emotions. You cannot distinguish between your true self and your conditioned self. You experience reality as fundamentally threatening. You produce constant fear and stress-based loosh that the Archons harvest. And most importantly, the monad portal remains closed. You are cut off from recognizing what you actually are. But here is the glitch in their system. Pneumatics feel the suppression as suffering. Hylics can live in chronic stress without feeling like something essential is being blocked. They do not sense the closed portal. But you do. You have always felt that something is fundamentally wrong with the way modern life operates. That feeling is not depression. That feeling is not you being unable to adapt. That feeling is your monad spark sensing that the God nerve is being kept in a suppressed state, and the portal home is being artificially closed. Every time you felt that pull toward nature, toward silence, toward deep breathing, toward anything that creates genuine calm, that is your consciousness trying to activate the vagus nerve and open the portal. And now that you know what is actually happening, you can stop doing it accidentally and start doing it systematically. Now, let me show you the specific technique Jesus taught for activating the God nerve and opening the monad portal. This is what he gave to the disciples that night, and this is what you are going to practice tonight. The vagus nerve responds to specific stimuli, and the technique Jesus taught combines all of them into one practice that creates immediate and powerful activation. You do not need equipment. You do not need elaborate ritual. You need 10 minutes of uninterrupted time, and the willingness to do something that might feel strange the first time, but will become your most powerful spiritual practice. First, posture and environment. Sit comfortably where you will not be interrupted. You can sit in a chair or on the floor. It does not matter. What matters is that your spine is relatively straight, so the vagus nerve pathway from brain to abdomen is unobstructed. Close your eyes. This removes visual stimulation and allows the vagus nerve to shift from external awareness to internal awareness. Second, the breath pattern. This is the foundation of vagal activation. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold gently for a count of 4. Breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. The exhale being longer than the inhale is critical. This is what signals the vagus nerve to activate parasympathetic mode. Do this for at least 2 minutes. You will feel your heart rate slow. You will feel your body begin to relax in a way that is deeper than normal relaxation. That is the God nerve beginning to engage. Third, vocal vibration. After 2 minutes of the breath pattern, on your next exhale, hum. a low, steady hum. Feel the vibration in your throat, your chest, your skull. The vagus nerve runs directly past your vocal cords. When you create vibration there, you are directly stimulating the nerve. The frequency does not matter. What matters is sustained vibration. Hum for the entire length of your exhale. Then breathe in slowly and silently for 4 counts. Exhale with another hum for 8 counts. Repeat this for at least 2 minutes. You will start to feel a strange tingling or warmth in your throat and chest. That is the God nerve activating strongly. Fourth, heart awareness. After 2 minutes of humming, return to silent breathing. 4 counts in, 8 counts out. But now, bring your attention to your heart. Not thinking about your heart, feeling your heart. The physical sensation of it beating. The vagus nerve has a massive connection to the heart. When you bring conscious awareness to the heart while maintaining slow, extended exhales, you are creating what is called heart-brain coherence. This is the state where the God nerve reaches high activation. Stay with this for at least 3 minutes. Breathe slowly. Feel your heartbeat. And notice how your sense of being a separate, threatened entity starts to dissolve. You are not trying to make anything happen. You are just breathing, feeling, and allowing the God nerve to do what it naturally does when it is not being suppressed. Open the portal to expanded awareness. Fifth, the recognition. After several minutes in heart-brain coherence, your consciousness will have shifted. You will not feel like a person meditating. You will feel like awareness itself, noticing that there is a body here breathing. That shift is the monad portal opening. At this point, speak internally or whisper these words. I am not this body. I am the monad experiencing itself through this body. Do not try to believe it. Do not try to convince yourself. Just state it while you are in this high vagal tone state. Your nervous system is now in a condition where that recognition can land as direct experience rather than intellectual concept. Stay in this state as long as you want. When you are ready to end the practice, slowly deepen your breathing. Gently move your fingers and toes and open your eyes. You will notice immediately that you feel different, calmer, more present, less identified with your thoughts. That is not a temporary meditation high. That is what it feels like when your God nerve is activated and the monad portal is open. This is your natural state. You have just been living in an artificially suppressed state for so long that your natural state feels like an altered state. Practice this every day, morning or evening, it does not matter. What matters is consistency. After a week of daily practice, your baseline vagal tone will increase. The monad portal won't just open during practice, it will start staying partially open throughout your day. After a month, you will notice that the Archon triggers that used to derail you completely now barely register. That is because you are operating more and more from monad consciousness and less from fear-based survival consciousness. The God nerve, when consistently activated, rewires your entire relationship to reality. Let me show you the signs that prove your God nerve is activating and the monad portal is opening. The first sign is that stress stops controlling you. Things that used to send you into anxiety spirals, you encounter them and your body does not react the same way. You still see the situation, but you do not get hijacked by it. That is high vagal tone working. The second sign is that witness consciousness becomes your default. Before, you were your thoughts. I am anxious. Now there is space. There is anxiety here. You have shifted from being the content of consciousness to being consciousness itself, observing content. That is the monad portal opening. The third sign is that you start craving things that support this state. Nature, silence, deep breathing. Your body becomes your guide toward what keeps the portal open. The fourth sign is that people act differently around you. High vagal tone is contagious. When your God nerve is activated, you are broadcasting calm and presence. People relax around you without knowing why. That is the activated monad portal effect. And the fifth sign is that synchronicity increases dramatically. The right information appears at the right time, the right people show up, obstacles dissolve. That is what happens when the Archons cannot interfere anymore because you are broadcasting from a frequency they cannot access. If you are experiencing 3 or more of these signs within 2 weeks of practice, you know it is working. Your God nerve is activating. The monad portal is opening. And you are operating as what you actually are. Jesus revealed that you have a physical nerve in your body that serves as the pathway to the monad, the wandering nerve, the vagus nerve, the God nerve. When this nerve is suppressed, which is the state most of humanity lives in permanently, the monad portal remains closed. You remain identified with limitation, and the Archons can harvest you easily. But when you activate this nerve consciously through the breath, through vocal vibration, through heart awareness, something shifts fundamentally. Your nervous system enters a state where monad consciousness becomes accessible, not as a belief, not as a concept, as direct, lived experience. The fragment recognizing it is the whole, the wave recognizing it is the ocean. And that recognition, when supported by consistent vagal activation, becomes your stable baseline. The Archons designed civilization to keep your God nerve in a chronically suppressed state. But they did not account for chosen ones who would instinctively resist that suppression and seek practices that create activation. You have been doing this unconsciously your entire life. Every time you took a deep breath during stress, every time you sought silence in nature, every time you felt called to meditation or breathwork, you were trying to activate the God nerve and open the monad portal. Tonight, before you sleep, practice the technique. 10 minutes. Breath pattern, humming, heart awareness, recognition. Feel the shift. Notice how different you feel when the God nerve is activated versus when it is suppressed. And then practice daily. Not because you need to achieve something, but because this is maintenance. This is keeping the portal open in a world designed to keep it closed. If you are activating your God nerve tonight, do 3 things right now. First, comment, "I am activating the God nerve" below so other chosen ones see this is real. Second, subscribe to Divine Codes because advanced vagal activation techniques are coming. Third, like this video so other pneumatics discover the physical pathway home that has been hidden in their own bodies. Do all 3 now. The God nerve is yours. The monad placed it in your body before you were born. Jesus revealed its purpose. The Archons tried to keep it suppressed, but you are activating it tonight. And when the God nerve opens, the monad portal opens. And you finally understand what Jesus meant when he said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." It is not a metaphor. It is anatomy.